Stranger Things Season 4's finale left us with so many questions. Max is in a coma now. The Duffer Brothers have confirmed that she is alive. However, she is, in fact, blind right now. She's brain dead and broken all over, just the same. Well, kind of. Vecna too is alive out there somewhere somehow. He escaped and is probably working on gathering as big of an army as possible to attack Hawkins with. Eddie is now dead, or so we were led to believe. There's a giant portal that ripped open through the entire town of Hawkins. It's literally shaped like the mouth of a Demogorgon. Not to mention, I want to see what the town has to say about all this since they're on the demonic cult craze. Still, I'm really curious if they're going to try to point fingers and blame it on the boys' Hellfire Club. But also, if the portal opens up like the mouth of a Demogorgon, it just peels back to let the Mind Flayer into Hawkins, I'm going to lose it. There are so many big questions going into Season 5, not to mention why the Upside Down is stuck in the past and hasn't moved a day since we went missing in Season 1. But also, how on earth did Henry Creel get his powers? What are their plans with Will and his neck tingle this season? And what big character are they gonna kill off? If you're new here, welcome to Pod Laughs and Muscle Curls. I'm a huge fan of Stranger Things, so I thought I'll do a one-off video. If you like Stranger Things too, go down and punch that subscribe button so hard it dissolves and gets banished to the Upside Down. It doesn't cost a thing, it's totally free, and it really helps me out. For all the people that are subscribed, I'm leaving a plate of fresh, warm cookies for you in the comments. Go get them while they're hot because we have a lot of Stranger Things to talk about. Now starting off things strong, I just want to dive right into one of the most anticipated predictions for Season 5. That is, besides who they're going to kill off this season, I'll save that for last, so make sure you watch until the end of the video. But besides that, I haven't been able to stop thinking about Eddie's death and how just none of the gang even reacted to it, or we didn't see them, at least. I was so surprised when they only showed us Dustin's reaction to his death. Literally so much potential to have a tear-jerking scene of the kid slowly realizing that Eddie didn't make it. I mean, I'm really happy that we got an emotional scene between Dustin and Eddie's uncle. That scene hit me harder than Hopper's reunion with Elle. I don't know why, but I was just expecting it to be way more dramatic. But I just would really, at the very least, like to see Eddie's death addressed. I mean, he did die a hero, and Steve literally said, "Don't go trying to be a hero." That's just what he did, dying to save the kids. He died trying to protect the town full of people that hated him. We spent so long developing his relationship to all of these characters in the gang, his relationship with Steve, Nancy, the boys. I want to see them address all the things they breezed over at the end of the finale. And this is one of my top things because I think there will be a time jump in Season 5 to account for the actors getting so much older. But I think they have to spend at least half an episode present day. There's so much stuff that happened. The portals opened up, Eddie died, Max went into a coma. They need to explain some things. If they just skipped ahead 2 years immediately, there's just so much that's left unaddressed. The portal opening up in Hawkins alone is so huge, and I want to see everyone's reaction to that. I also want to see what happened to Eddie. There's a behind-the-scenes shot of Eddie's body getting loaded onto an ambulance that we never saw anywhere. That got me thinking about so many things. Did they shoot this scene of the kids dragging him out of the Upside Down and them calling an ambulance to try to save him? And they cut it because they didn't have enough time? Or did they shoot a few scenes for the present-day shots to start off Season 5 with? I mean, by the time it comes out, another 2 years will have passed, so shooting a few shots now that they know they needed to include would make total sense. There's also one that if the kids didn't save him from the Upside Down, if they just left him where we saw him last, he will be the first person to die in the Upside Down. And just what if Vecna resurrects him to use him as a host, like what he did with Will in Season 2 or Billy in Season 3? After taking all those Molotovs and shotguns to the face, Vecna is not doing so hot right now. Well, he is on fire, so I guess he's a little too hot right now, but you know what I mean. As much as I would like to see them come true, I think we will, at least, get his death addressed by the gang. Next is Max, probably the biggest and most emotional thing left up in the air by the finale. I cannot believe they almost killed her off. It kind of felt like they didn't know if they wanted to kill her off or not. So they just kind of half killed her off, leaving her in this limbo where they could bring her back or kill her off in season 5. But if you remember, in episode 7, after Vecna kills everybody at Hawkins, he tells Eleven that everybody he's killed is still with him in his head. One said, "They're not gone, Eleven. They're still with me, in here." And Brenner told Eleven that Henry is different. When he kills, he takes everything that person is. Their memories, their abilities, their soul. But Max is the one person that Vecna has taken who still has her eyes. Everyone Vecna targets, he establishes a connection with. Even with Will from season 2. So I feel like Max can play a huge role in season 5. But with the Duffer Brothers telling us that Will is going to get the spotlight, that makes me think that Max won't be in the spotlight so much, since she had it all to herself in season 4. But she could still help beat Vecna from the inside, since technically she's still connected to him. I think that she's still out there somewhere, trapped in Vecna's mind space and disconnected from her body. I would love to see them use Max to instead travel through Vecna's memories, kind of like what he did to her in the season 4 finale. They could use this to show more young Henry Creel flashbacks without the monologue. They could explore more of Vecna's backstory, which they've said they're already planning on doing. The biggest question is, will Max survive? Personally, I think there's a great chance that Max is going to survive. She might be in a coma for half the season. But if she comes back, there's a good chance that she'll get powers too, just like Will did with his true sight abilities. But what on earth would Max get? Blind with powers would be so cool to see, especially with Max's character to evolve into. But what are her powers going to be? Most likely something similar to Eleven's mind-traveling powers, or something to do with seeing people's memories or trauma, like they spent so much time on in season 4. Maybe she'll be able to find the root of Vecna's childhood trauma. I don't know, that would be really cool. Next, for the spotlight, is Will. I'm so glad that I'm finally saying this. Will has deserved the spotlight for so long now. We can only hope that things keep going right for him and Joyce takes him to a barber finally. But going into the next season, Will is going to be one of the team's most valuable assets besides Eleven, of course. Yeah, Vecna is connected to Eleven and Will both. But Eleven doesn't have spidey senses. And then there's Steve. Technically, when they first wrote his character, he was supposed to die back in season 1 during the Demogorgon fight at Joyce's place. It was a miracle that he survived as long as he has. But with all that emotional baggage they're layering on about his family dream, having 6 little tiny Harrington nuggets with Nancy, road tripping across the country on family vacations, going into season 5, his chance of death just went up to 95%. I mean, from the beginning, Nancy was always meant to be with Jonathan. But things change, the show evolves, the writers evolve, the characters evolve. And with them making Nancy and Jonathan distant, it's totally possible for it to come full circle and her to end up back with Steve. Or is that just a dream they want you to fall back into before they slow motion kill Steve in front of our eyes? Personally, they could have really played into the babysitter's sacrifice in season 4, dying to save the kids he always protected. But I think season 5 will use him and Nancy as the emotional tie. If Jonathan were to die, I think it would be Vecna trying to get to Will. And for Jonathan being the only one that knows Will's secret and him feeling like he's the only person he can trust, it would be so freaking emotional to see Jonathan get killed off while Will watches. Still, I think Steve's chances of dying for the finale season are way higher. If they choose to not kill him off and just let him live and be happy for the end of the show, that would be the biggest plot twist of the entire show. Let me know what you think is going to happen in season 5. I think I could easily do another video on more season 5 predictions and might have to do one just on who's going to die. Let me know. For those of you who've stayed engaged throughout this video, you are nothing short of champions. Let the YouTube comments bear witness to your dedication, claim the champion status, and inspire others to follow suit.